Okay, guys. Hey, welcome back to the Friday free swing evaluation. This is version 2. This week we have a guy named Ben sent me this video, and I want you to watch this pretty carefully. There's going to be a lot of similarities to what we saw last week with Chase. If we watch Ben, and just this is regular motion, so this is not slowed down in any way. And I just want you to watch how good this golf swing is. I love the setup on the right here. Everything about this looks really good. So if we take and just watch the swing, this is down the line from behind. Everything about that looks really, really good to me. All the way to the finish, good hold, just ripping it. And you can tell by his divots that he's just tracking this thing. So now if we look at face on, same thing. He does some really good things in his swing. He loads up good, covers good, swings good. I teach a lot of golf, and I'm telling you that at that speed, it would be difficult for me to say, okay, I know what you're doing wrong. But I'd have a pretty good guess if he's inconsistent, which he says he is, and unable to kind of figure out which direction the ball's going. So that's face angle. He looks like he's striking it really good. So I'm going to guess his attack angle is pretty good. He's hitting the ball first. But he's losing the direction of the club face, okay? It's the same problem for him as it was for Chase last week, and we're going to analyze it again. And I believe it's the same problem for a similar reason. Start out with too weak a grip on your glove hand, on your lead hand, and trying to square the club up at impact. We're going to go back to the beginning, put him back here, and I'm going to look at the swing. The backswing, he's got a really good backswing. So I want you to watch. If Chase happens to be watching this, this is kind of the takeaway that we're working for you to get here. I want you to watch him take this away and see how long the club stays out in front of him. So at this position, his hands, the club is still outside of that. And you can tell he's still got an angle on this club face in here. So he's not fanning this open very fast at the takeaway and getting it behind him. That's kind of the move you want for the takeaway. Then he goes to the top from here, gets in a really good position here, and he does the same thing here. I want you to watch this. I'm going to slow this one down just a little bit. This move right here at the top is actually tour level. So he's over the ball really good. He doesn't sway off of this. I don't know what club he's hitting. I think he's hitting a 7-iron. I told him not what to hit. Watch him load into here. That move right there. His head goes down towards the ball. He's not pushing his hip out. He's just loading weight into his front side. He's in a phenomenal position here. So from here, if he can simply learn from here to keep this angle that he's got right here, not by trying to hold on, no more than you would try to hold your wrist back when you're throwing a ball or swinging a bat. We're not trying to not release our wrist. We're just not releasing our wrist because our body's turning. Once your body's done turning, the wrists will go by themselves. They have to. But if you slow your body down, your wrists are going to release early. I believe he's throwing early. The same reason I believe anyone throws early, for the most part, is because they have a bad grip. And if their grip's bad, they got to get the face square. So they square it up very late in the swing at the bottom of the swing by throwing early. We're going to come down here, and I'm going to move him down. This camera speeds for him, the shutter speed's a little slow, so we can't get into some of the positions I want. I'd like to see where his club was when his hands were on his leg here. And the next picture, he's kind of past his leg more in the center. He's already releasing here. So we'll just talk about this angle here. He's in a really good position here, but at this position here, what he should be is his lower body should already start to be pointing out here his belt buckle. He should have gotten his arms down to this position more by rotation than just by bringing his hands down without the turn. You have to do something to get the club head back to the ball. And the club head's going to get back to the ball. My hands have to get back to the ball. And my hands and arms need to get the ball because my body rotates. The same way you do as you swing a bat. I'm going to put his bat swing on here to show you that later. So he comes into this position. He's in a really good position here on the downswing. If you see this similar position where his hand's about that, the shaft's actually slightly below, so he's certainly not over the top on his golf swing. He's in a pretty good position at this point, but he shouldn't be quite square with his hips here. By this point in the downswing, the left hip should be starting to get behind him some. And he's not going to clear that hip, just like Chase didn't last week. He's going to keep these hips kind of where they are right now, and he's going to go ahead and start releasing his club, or his wrist, basically. So I'm going to clear the lines again, and I want you to watch the angle he loses from here to here, how much of that's gone by here. Now we take that same line, go to the glove, and then we come down here and look at that. This might be 90-degree angle right here, By the time he's down here, I don't know what this angle is here, but it's 160. He's getting ready to draw a straight line. By the time he gets to the ball, we don't have an impact position with this shutter speed. It's after, but you can already tell, if I clear all these lines here, he's certainly past the straight line now. So he released the club right at the golf ball. I want you to watch his upper body. I'm going to kind of play this to a little bit faster speed, and you're going to see, look at him rise up there. Right at the end as he hits this ball. Watch his head and chest and everything get up. That's too soon for that to be coming up. He's moving up and away from the ball. I'm going to put him back here, and I want you to watch where his head goes. It's going to move up, and it's also going to move away from this. The reason that's happening is because he's throwing this club. He's letting his right hand extend. That makes the club, just so you know what I'm talking about, this distance right here between that shoulder and that arm is going to get much longer now, and way too long at the bottom of the golf swing. So if he doesn't want to hit the ground right here behind the ball, the only way he's not going to hit the ground is do what he's doing. He's learned to move himself up and back and away. So watch his head move up and away from that line. He's moved his head completely back and up so that he can release the club and not chunk it. That's a timing move. When I talk to people and I say, look, swings that have timing in it is a problem, because if you don't move just the right amount up and back and release the club just at the right moment, and the face angle happen to be nice and square when you do that, you're going to not have consistency. Okay, one more thing. Again, at this point, he's almost at impact on the one on the right. I'm going to clear the lines. And I want you to notice the same thing as we talked about last week. I still don't see any of this left butt cheek, his left pocket at this point. And at this point in his downswing, I promise you, if he was throwing a ball or he was swinging a bat, we'd be seeing that left hip by now. Way easy by now. We need to start seeing that in the golf swing. There needs to be this hip rotation, not sliding, not pushing forward, rotating horizontally so that the club gets moved into the golf ball because your body's rotating, not because you're throwing your arms at it. But I still believe the biggest reason he throws his arms at it or has trained himself to do that is because his grip's too weak. We're going to go right back to his grip. I can't zoom in on this any closer, but if you look at that V that's pointed on his glove hand, it's pointed right to about his chin. Okay, I'm going to change it up this week. We used Adam Scott last week. We'll use McIlroy. McIlroy's got a beautiful golf swing. And Ben actually makes a move at the top of the swing real similar to this. You're going to see how similar this is early on. But if you look at McIlroy's grip, he doesn't do forearm rotation and some of the things that the other players do. He actually just uses his grip to get more square. So if I look at his grip, let me see if I can zoom in. I can't see the V on his hand. So if you look here, and I look very, very closely in that area, you can't see any part of his thumb or his forefinger. So that V that you see with Ben is covered up by his other hand, and certainly because you can tell you can't see it, it's got to be at least pointing over to his shoulder. He's going to be somewhat neutral, okay? And the other reason you can tell, if I can clear this again, I can see a whole bunch of the back of his hand, and particularly his Nike, facing me. And when you look at Ben's, that same logo looks way, way more like it's pointing that direction. And Rory's looks like it's pointing much closer to us. Okay, so you know he's gripping it a little bit stronger there. I don't care about the right hand. He's pretty neutral with that as far as the right hand. The V's looking at his chin. That's fine. And Ben's is like that too. The right hand isn't nearly as important as the lead hand. Okay, I should say lead and trail in case a left-hander's looking at this. So we back this back out. We're going to look at the two swings. I want you to watch how similar this is when Ben gets to the top of the swing. I want you to watch this move right there, this load right in there. That move there, dropping in and going down after it. Watch what McIlroy does. That's in the same position he's going to go. McIlroy's going to take this back, turn, and then just drop in and go down and towards that front leg. So very similar positions here. Now you're going to start seeing some changes, though. Both of them have really good lag here. In fact, Ben's got more lag than McIlroy does at this point, but he's going to give it away before he gets back to the golf ball. So as they start turning through, I'm going to put Ben's positions are a little bit different, so I'm going to try and stop McIlroy in the same positions I can get Ben at with the shutter speed. So we're going to take Ben, and I'm going to put him about right there. Okay, and I'll take McElroy and put him one more click down. So they're both. Now McElroy actually has a more acute angle than Ben does, and yet at the top of the swing, Ben had a smaller angle than Rory did. So it already shows you that Ben, even at this point, is unloading his right wrist some. It's a constant unload all the way down. It's later than a lot of people. It's better than most, but it's still too soon. So when we start coming down some more, I'm going to take Ben down first so I can match that position with McElroy. We come down again, and we start getting where our hands are just outside our leg. His is actually on it. Come down. Now, I want you to notice in this position, both of them still have some lag. Both of them got a bent right elbow and a straight left arm. But look at McElroy's belt buckle. Ben's belt buckle's still looking at us. That's the problem. He's not going to bring his hands down and his club to the golf ball by using his big muscles, his lower bodies. He's going to throw at it, and he throws hard, but he throws early. So we'll keep him coming down. Another position for Ben down here. I'm going to bring McElroy down to about the same position to where his hands get just about on his right leg. At this point, you can see that McElroy still has a pretty good angle on this club, and Ben's starting to lose it considerably. I wish I could see McElroy's club head here because it also wouldn't be as open as Ben's is. Ben is now fighting to get that club face square. You can see how open that is even coming back to the ball. So he's going to slam that thing shut on his way through the ball. That means it's open now, it's shut right after he hits it, and somewhere in there it's nice and square, but just for a moment. That's a timing move. So we'll get Ben unfortunately the next swing for Ben is after impact. But if you watch McElroy, I'm going to clear the lines. If you watch McElroy as he comes into this, I want you to see, the club's blurry, but you can already tell his toe is still squared up here. He's not open here, or you'd see more of the face of the club. And his hands haven't released yet. So even by the time I put his hands about in the same position as Ben's, which is to say that the hands are on the left leg, maybe even a little bit right on the edge of the left leg, and McElroy's about on his left leg here too. Look where the club head is for both of them. If I draw a line down Ben's shoulder through his glove hand, they're straight down and the club's well past it already. McElroy's hands are in the same position as Ben, but if I come down from his shoulder to his glove, the club hasn't passed that yet. That means his club face is still being very controlled because there's no release yet. Once you release your hands, the club face starts to shut. But Ben is having to shut it on the way down because it's too open too late in the swing. McElroy gets his face square early so he can rotate. The way you do that for most people is change your grip. And the other thing is, by this point, McElroy's belt buckle's facing almost at the target, and Ben is still looking at us more right here. It might be open a little bit. But now you're going to see what happens. This is why I call it sequence, because Ben's going to get through, and within about that position there, he looks very similar to where McElroy is. Now they look like perfect. The problem was Ben got there, but threw early to get there. McElroy got there early with his body. So I want you to watch this. It's really important. Good golfers have their lower body do a lot of the work on the downswing. So watch McElroy. A lot of work with the lower body. And then once they get in here, their wrist release, and mostly their arms just go. Look at his lower body through this stretch. I want you to watch his lower body from about right here to here. Not much happening, just a release. His leg's extending, his left leg's extending while his hip goes behind him, but the rotation's kind of done. It just looks like a lot of arms. If you look at where Ben's happening, he had a lot of arms coming here while his lower body didn't do much. His lower body just pushed a little bit forward, but it didn't rotate. But once he gets to here, watch how much rotation his lower body does. Now he rotates his hip behind him and he pushes through really, really well. It's after the fact. So it's all about sequence, guys. It's get a good grip and start learning how to rotate your body, but you have to have the grip first. I'm going to put out a real short video on top of this one today that talks about why it's so important to get the face squared up early in the downswing and how to go about doing it. Okay, guys. Hey, thanks, Ben, for participating. Let's go to work.